If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
What types of seeds here? Hybrid, organic, F1, F2. What are those, and should we be concerned about them or not?
Right. So heirloom, let's talk about heirloom first. Heirloom is an old cultivar of seed, and that's still maintained by gardeners, farmers, sometimes in isolated communities. These have been commonly grown throughout time. They are the original kind of seed that
nature started with.
There could be heirloom seeds that nobody else will ever have access to except for one particular family in one town or village or whatever.
Native American culture or a group.
Right. Or even like in Australia or the Aboriginals or what have you. Or even just a family. Like, this is us. Like, okay, This is the Baird family's whatever. We don't have an heirloom seed, but you don't know. That's what heirloom is. Now, organic have been produced entirely through organic practices by certified organic operations. So, in the U.S.
So, are these, can organic be heirloom?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in the U.S., it would be the USDA, was U.S. Department of Agriculture, and they do the accreditation for the organic seeds. So that means that these were grown in organic conditions
through a regiment of requirements in order to get certified
organically.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if a farmer or a gardener who has filled out all this paperwork in order to have their seed certified, if they use a product that is not on that list of products in which could be used for an organic garden or farm for seed collection, then it's deemed inorganic.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is organic, and so you can easily save heirloom and organic seeds to grow again year after year in your garden.
Radishes, leaf lettuces, tomatoes, the whole deal. Very easy.
The whole thing is that as you save those seeds, they become climatized to your specific location year after year. So they're going to be, not like if you give them to a friend to grow, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's perfectly fine. But they become more adapted.
Like humans do in certain climates.
Right, like you, for example, moved from the south to the north, and if your first few winters were rough, and you still don't love winter, but you adapted a little bit better to the colder weather. So
then we have hybrid seeds, which are not a genetically modification of seeds. It is the crossing of two parent plants to get a stronger offspring.
Right. Yep. So this is done by a horticulturist or a botanist. So basically, say you have a drought-tolerant plant and a plant that is prolific production. They could combine those two traits to make a hybrid plant.
And there's nothing wrong with growing hybrids. Some hybrids are more disease resistant than the organics and the heirlooms, and also they do produce, it's based on the type, some produce heavier than the heirloom or organic varieties, and they are easier to grow in some cases. And when people say, well, what would you recommend? I'm a new gardener. Well, hybrids would be a good candidate for you. There are some limitations to the varieties that are available compared to heirloom varieties.
Let's talk about now. If you saved a hybrid seed, what would happen if you grew it next year?
You're going to get. We'll pick a tomato here. If you save an early girl tomato, you're going to get an early girl tomato next year. However, it may not have the same characteristics that plant that you saved the seeds from this year have. So it will morph back, the potential of morphing back into one of the parent plants or the characteristics of one of the parent plants.
Right.
And then we see this on some seed packets, F1 and F2 seeds.
Right.
This is not a form of motorsports, the F1s are, but this is a classification of the type of seeds.
Right. So these are hybrid seed, and they are known. So there's first generation, second generation. There can even be F3, which is the third generation.
Those you still do not want to save, as it can morph back into one of those parent
So
plants.
I guess if you see that, you shouldn't be alarmed. It's just something that is common in regards to hybrid.
Some of those are much easier to grow than the heirloom and the organic ones. Then let's touch on genetically modified seeds.
Yeah, so genetically modified seeds, genetically modified organism is something that was done in a lab to
create a seed.
Genetic engineering methods to introduce a new trait to the plant which does not occur naturally in the species. So you want to talk about corn or soybeans?
This is very prevalent in big agriculture, and I know we've got a lot of farmers across the country listening, especially in the Missouri and South Dakota areas, and this is what is used on big ag industries. So let's take the corn seed here. They take it into a lab and they alter the DNA structure of that seed to allow it to absorb chemicals that are sprayed on the field to kill weeds and grass and everything else in order to make the crop grow better, because there's less competition if we kill all the weeds. So they're spraying harmful chemicals on all of the crop and to kill all the vegetation and sometimes the wildlife inside of that field, the microscopic and the worms and the grasshoppers and all that. So what it does is it absorbs all them chemicals, but it doesn't kill the corn because the DNA has been altered to absorb and not be, it's changed the DNA structure so it can not be killed by that chemical or chemicals in which they spray on the field. Now people are concerned, non-GMO, GMO. I don't want to buy any GMO seeds for my garden. You're not going to be able to go to a seed company online, Seed Savers Exchange, or fill in the blank seed company and purchase a pack of genetically modified soybeans or corn or tomatoes or peppers or whatever. Because some of them are not GMOs, they haven't altered those specific varieties yet, but because those are copyrighted seeds. When the big ag industry, big farmers go and buy their seed stock, their soybeans or their corn or whatever they're growing, they have to sign a contract with the seed company stating that they will not save these seeds because they're copyrighted, and the company in which they bought it from can sue the farmer if they do save the seeds because it's copyright infringement and all this other stuff. And you can do your own research on that. But you're not going to go and be able to purchase genetically modified seeds for your garden. So you don't have to worry about that at all. The reason why seed companies put organic, heirloom, non-GMO, some of it is a marketing tool. Others is a calming, a fear calmer, because right, people are concerned of what they may be purchasing and where it may have come from or what it may be derived from and all of that stuff. So, yeah. So keep that in mind whenever you're purchasing seeds. Heirloom, organic, best there. We recommend those. Hybrids, nothing's wrong with that. The F1s, F2s, F3s, totally safe, nothing wrong. And the genetically modified crops, that's why a lot of things in the grocery store are labeled now non-GMO, or, they have the labeling on it, even though it's not required yet. It's some of a marketing tool. So there you go on that. So that's just understanding some of the seeds in which you are going to see labels on online and in your local independent garden center.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.